Welcome, everyone. I'm Jen Allred. I'm the District 6600 Public Image Chair, and I'm so glad you joined us for our very first Public Image Power Hour. So, tonight I plan to keep it simple and fun while we talk about branding do's and don'ts, those little things that make a big difference in how Rotary is seen by our communities. My goal isn't to send you off to tear up your banners and your flyers and all of your outdated branding material. This is just to give you the confidence and a few easy tools to help your club look its best. We'll start with some quick tips, and then at the end, I'll open it up for your questions, ideas, and best practices. And for fun, I've thrown in a few example flyers that we can kind of critique and decide how good these specific designers did on their branding and adherence to the branding guidelines. And if you have a question or you want to contribute something while we're talking or while I'm talking, this is super informal. So I would just encourage you to speak up. I have a really bad habit of not looking for hands raised in the Zoom window when I'm talking. So this is informal. Just speak up. It won't hurt my feelings, I promise. All right. First things, I'd like to introduce the public image team. I'm the chair. I'm from Vermilion. And I've got Maris Brenner from the Sandusky Club. She is our chief storyteller, is what we call her. That she's super involved with our social media presence and is a very instrumental player in our newsletter pod or team. I'll describe more about pods here in a minute. And hopefully by now you've had a chance to check out our monthly web-based newsletter that's intended to keep the district and the clubs connected. And our October edition is going to be coming out within the next 1 or 2 weeks. So keep an eye on that. Also involved with the newsletter is Jen Miller from the North Coast Club. She is new to Rotary and has jumped into public image feet first, and I'm so grateful. And so is Maris because she's a huge part of the newsletter pod and hopefully things in the future after that. We have Phil Marissy from the Toledo Club. I don't think he could make it tonight, but he's the mastermind behind our webcast for District 6600. And that is something that's currently under production. He has a studio in Toledo, and he has very generously offered to use it to help to produce district and club focused webcasts. He's already filmed one of them, and it was focused on Pam giving her or reenacting her induction speech. And that should be coming out fairly soon. And then tomorrow, a few of us from clubs and districts or district leaders are actually going to be meeting at his studio to film footage for upcoming episodes. We also have Tom Roki. He's from the Ashland Club, and like Phil, he's got a knack for video production and podcasts. And we're working on creative ways to get him and Phil synced up to collaborate on projects going forward. And then there's Sharon Trabick from the Mommy Club. She is our public image Wonder Woman who helps keep us on track and connected with the district and the clubs and does so much more than that. But we all know that she's a woman of all trades. So there's your team. And now that you know the team, a quick public image service announcement here. So, district and club public image work is not a solo job. It is truly a team sport, and we definitely need help. If you love taking photos at events, or you're a strong writer, or you just know your way around Canva, have we got a job for you? I mean, the clubs can always use help, but the district really needs help too. So if you see something here that appeals to you with photography, storytelling, graphics, websites, social media, we'd love to have your help. And then to put your mind at ease, if you don't think you have enough time to help, just know that we have introduced something called the pod concept, which is small focused teams that work on specific pieces of the public image puzzle, which means you don't have to take on an entire role. You don't have to edit the newsletter every month. You would really just focus on a short-term task, like helping refresh a portion of the district's website, or helping with the legacy dinner promotion, or helping with the peace conference. It's kind of a small bite-sized piece. And when it's over, the group kind of dissolves, and it will catch up with you next year and see if you could help with it again. And the goal of this is to make volunteering manageable and to use people's strengths. We don't need one superhero. We need a lot of small sparks of creativity that can help make us shine in the district. So please reach out to one of the people on the team if you're interested in playing a part of the Public Image's growing team. And with that addressed, let's jump right into the Power Hour. So why does branding matter so much? It's because consistent professional branding builds trust. And when your community sees your club logo or your post or your flyers, they should instantly recognize that it's Rotary, just like you instantly know a cup from Starbucks or an Apple ad. And when clubs use the correct Rotary logo, colors, and fonts, it creates a sense of unity and professionalism. And it signals that we're part of something much bigger than one single club. We're part of a worldwide network of 1.4 million people of action. Good branding also helps to attract new members and partners. So people are more likely to join or donate when an organization looks credible and is confident. And when our materials look dated or are inconsistent, it can unintentionally send the opposite message that we're not current or we're not organized. Every club is unique, but the Rotary brand ties us all together. So whether you're in Fremont, Defiance, or Milan, we share one visual identity that helps the public see the scale of Rotary's impact, both locally and globally. So strong branding doesn't take away your club's personality. In fact, it makes it better. It amplifies it. It gives you a framework to tell your story with clarity, confidence, and pride. So let's start with some basic do's and don'ts for Rotary branding. These are simple, but they're important in that they help us all present Rotary in a consistent professional way and make our clubs instantly recognizable as part of that bigger something. So I'm going to quickly summarize these do's here. I've got 4 of them. And then on the following slides, I'm going to break them down in more detail. So these principles are the foundation of Rotary's visual identity, and they're what make our public image strong and consistent across the district and across the world. So the first is to create your club logo using the Rotary Brand Center template. And that ensures that your club's name and the Rotary wheel are going to be properly aligned and proportioned. And you can download them in multiple formats, and 0 skills are required. You just need an internet connection. The second is to use the Rotary International logo or the Mark of Excellence only alongside your club logo. And I will show you these logos in a couple of slides. These symbols represent Rotary globally, but they shouldn't stand alone on a club banner or flyer or on a social post. Keeping them together, your club and the Rotary International logos, reinforces the connection that exists between the 2 entities. And the third do is to stick with the approved Rotary color palette. Using those colors keeps your materials looking clean and modern and instantly recognizable. And the last one that I will talk about here is using action photos whenever you can. Real people, real service. Show Rotarians doing things. It's the difference between a static group photo and a picture that tells a story and draws people in. So the first do was to create that club logo. So you would go to the Rotary Brand Center where you can quickly create a logo that's customized to your club or your district. And I'm showing the window here of the Brand Center. You can select from a simplified logo or a regular logo, which I will talk more about in a minute. You can select the color of the logo that you want from the approved options. You can choose the position of your club name, whether you want it above or below the word Rotary. And then you can download the files as a PDF, a JPEG, or a PNG, depending on your specific application. Now, for the things that I do, which is usually flyers or something on websites or social, it it works best for me to use a PNG just because that gives you the transparent background behind the logo, and it's typically high enough resolution for most applications that I have. So that's my go-to is the PNG. And the beauty of this tool, this logo template tool, is that you don't have to remember your My Rotary password or to access it. The brand center is unrestricted. So if you have an internet access and you've got a computer, you can get into the brand center and create an array of logos. And if you're the creator for your club, I highly suggest that you go into this template and take a few minutes to just create logos in all the colors and formats so that you have them accessible for your flyers, your banners, your Facebook posts. When I was getting ready for it's aggravating because you've got a logo in black. You've got, the club logo in black, but you can't find it. Just as I was preparing for this presentation, I had to go download the district logo in black to use an example here. It's like, gosh, I know I have it somewhere. But if I would have just kept it in that little file, it would have been easy. So I highly encourage you to keep them at your fingertips. Okay, so this next do that I had mentioned is one that really trips clubs up. Once you start seeing when it's done incorrectly, it's hard to unsee it. A lot of you that are involved in public image here, it kind of ruins it for you. It's like, oh, that club did a great flyer. And then you start like picking it apart because there's all these things that they could have done better. But that's okay. None of us are perfect. Um, but using the Rotary International logos correctly is very important and it is very misused. So on the screen, you see several of Rotary's official marks. You see the master brand signature, which is the first one above the yellow line. And then there's the simplified master brand signature. And then we have the mark of excellence. And below the yellow line, we've got examples of club and district logos. And let's see here. So the simplified master brand here, the second one in on the top, is really intended for uses when the word Rotary International can't be read. And that's either due to the size that you've made it or a specific media. So, for instance, if you're putting the Rotary master brand on an embroidered on a shirt, chances are it's not going to have enough resolution to see the Rotary International words. So in that case, you would use the simplified one because otherwise it's just not going to look good. It's going to look like a little blob. So the words won't be legible. So that's when you would use the simplified. Something very small, that's fine. But in general, if it's large enough, if it's larger than a half inch in diameter for the mast or the wheel, then you want to go ahead and use the standard or the regular master brand signature. And those are two options for you when you're going through the brand center logo tool. And let's see, you'll also note here on the far right that I have shown a simplified mark of excellence, but I've marked it out because we're technically not allowed to take a simplified wheel and use it as in any form unless the word Rotary is beside it or the words Rotary International appear in the wheel itself. So there's really no option for us under the brand rules to use that simplified mark of excellence without the word Rotary. So the takeaway here is we can only use the Rotary International logos like the master brand or the mark of excellence when our club or district or program name also appears on that same piece, that same design piece. In other words, if you're creating a flyer or a banner or a social post, it should be very clear who the message is coming from, and it's not coming from Rotary International. So the reason behind this is very simple. Rotary International is a global organization, and only that international office in Evanston can officially speak for it. So when clubs or district use those logos alone, it can give the impression that you're representing Rotary International, and that's just not the case. The good news here is that the logo templates that you can get on the Brand Center solve that perfectly. They pair your club or your district name with that Rotary master brand in a consistent professional format. It occurred to me that I don't talk much about, let me see if I can't get my little arrow. Can you guys see my arrow? Probably not. Here's my arrow. So there's something down here called the logo lockup. And that is another type of template that exists that you can use. You can pair your club name with another logo or an organization that you work with, or written words that have some significance. There's some guidance around what you can do with that. But if you're looking to pair your club logo or district logo along with another logo that's either relevant to Rotary or relevant to another service club or organization that you partner with, that's totally permissible. And there's a tool that does that. And it's all up there on under the Brand Center. So whenever you're designing something, just remember, if Rotary, the word Rotary appears with it and your club name, or I should say, if it says Rotary, like you have a Rotary logo and then you have your club name, you're perfectly compliant. If it's a Rotary logo all by itself, there's something not quite right. It's a small detail, but it makes a really big difference in keeping that unified Rotary image and making sure it's credible. Okay, so the next one was to stick with those approved colors for your logos. That there are specific colors that we're allowed to use for our custom logos, and those are shown here. For clubs and districts and zones, we can use Rotary Gold and Rotary Royal Blue, and that's the first one shown on the left. And then you can also use Rotary Gold and White. You can use all azure, you can use all black, or you can use all white. And for an Interact club, it's either sky blue, all black, or all white. And for Rotaract clubs, it's cranberry, all white, or all black.
Hmm.
And as tempting as it is to get creative and go have some fun colors on your logos or with the RI master brand or the mark of excellence, it's not allowed. You're required to stick with the colors that are available on the Brand Center logo templates. There is something up on the Brand Center called Your Logos at a Glance, and it is a quick two-page reference. It's available. It is such a great resource, and it's a great reminder of the proper usage of our logos. And so I highly encourage you to track that down. I would be happy to send that out, and a few other resources to those that are online, just so that you have it if you haven't seen this before. So it's a front and back, or it's intended to be front and back or two page, but on the second page, I mentioned those logo lockups, where you can show a partnering organization or another logo. This gives you a little guidance on how to use those lockups. And you'll also notice that in the bottom right of that logos at a glance are some colors, like a nice color palette. And it's a lot more colors than I showed you on the previous slide when we were talking about logos. And that's intentional. I showed you the color logos before, the logo colors before. And what I'm showing you here includes those, but there's also a teal, a red, a green, a purple, some grays. And these are part of Rotary's extended color palette. And they're what we would call curated colors, or colors that are chosen to complement the brand and give designers flexibility when you're creating your flyers, your event graphics, or your campaign materials. So You'll probably recognize some of these colors from like the End Polio Now campaign. That you can already see that red is definitely something, and the yellow as well. That rotary yellow is definitely, or gold, rotary gold. I think th those two colors are definitely prominent in the End Polio Now campaign. Membership month promotions also show those vibrant colors, peace building. So these are colors that Rotary International selected to add variety and vibrancy while keeping everything very recognizable as Rotary. And these colors are available for you to use, and you're not stuck with these colors by any means. If you've got something going on, an event that you want to promote, and you've got to have different colors, that's totally fine. But these colors are here if you want to have something that's recognizable as rotary. You can pull from these palettes to keep your materials visually aligned with Rotary's global look. It shows the fonts here as well. What I ended up doing was I programmed in all of these colors into Canva. I programmed in the fonts into Canva, which I would be happy to do another workshop at some point where we can focus on Canva design maybe. But it's really helpful. Like now, no matter what I'm designing in Canva, it's going to throw in the current fonts. The only colors or the first colors that pop up for me to use are all of the colors that are on this palette, which is really helpful when 99% of the things you do are associated with Rotary when it comes to design work. Okay, my final do is to use the action photo or use action photos whenever possible. So Rotary's global People of Action campaign reminds us that we're not just volunteers, we're problem solvers, we're community builders, we're change makers. And the People of Action campaign was started in 2017, and it's intended to emphasize that Rotarians don't just sit around at weekly meetings and talk about problems. We roll up our sleeves and we solve those problems. And the best way to show that is through photos that capture real action. So the People of Action section in the Brand Center has templates you can use if you want to incorporate your own photos and messaging.
Can I say something for 1 second?
Of course you may.
I want to congratulate the people that did the bed making work because the pictures that were taken there, some of those, in fact, I am putting together a People of Action um, piece using one of the photos that someone took because they were doing something, they were working, and they were wearing a Rotary shirt, and you can see that. And that's really important if you want to do that. And there are people. It drives me nuts every time I see some of these where these are obviously stock a stock photo. Let's say if you're doing any sort of advertising of something, make sure it's your own people.
Mhm.
But but great job on whoever took all those pictures.
I think we have Maris to thank for that. She
I
was,
figured.
yeah, she's excellent at getting out there with the camera, making sure that people aren't just sitting. I mean, there's plenty of pictures where we're looking at the camera, but there's plenty where she's saying, "No, don't look at me. Look over there."
Yeah,
So,
you have to train people to after they've turned around and looked at you, take a picture and then get them back to doing their work. So
yeah, right. So to carry on with that thought, one of my favorite parts of the People of Action campaign that you can find on the Brand Center is that it doesn't just tell us to use better photos, it actually shows us what they mean. And if you scroll down under the Brand Center, People of Action, you will see that those campaign guidelines include great examples of good versus bad photography. And that's what I'm showing here, those examples that they give. And you'll see that the bad examples, they're not wrong, but they're often posed or static or emotionless. And people are lined up, they're smiling at a camera, they're holding a check. It's not really telling the story. But good examples, on the other hand, are candid, they're dynamic and real. They show Rotarians doing something. They're building, they're planting, they're serving, they're connecting. And you can see the energy and the teamwork and the emotion, and that's what draws people in. So when you're taking photos of your club, think people of action. Capture the moment of motion, the laughter, the teamwork, the focus. And that's Rotary's story in a single frame. So I encourage you, I'm not giving you, okay, I am giving you homework. I encourage you to go back to your photo reel and your photos from past service projects, things that you're proud of, and look at it from this lens. Or were you able to capture the spirit of the event? Like, and this was the very first Rotary service project I helped to lead, and it was a microplastic cleanup on Vermilion Beach. And on the left, you see the more traditional posed photo. At the time, I was so proud of it because look how many Rotarians were gathered around there and other people in the community. And it was fine for documentation. I think it ended up in our little weekly newspaper. But it doesn't tell a whole lot of a story. What were we doing? So on the right, I'm not saying this is a perfect picture, but it was the only one I had. On the right, you see a people of action moment. You see members engaged. You see sleeves rolled up. You see sand under the fingernails, and their expressions are focused. It could certainly be better. I mean, what would have made this great is if that Rotary Club of Vermilion tent was plopped right in the middle of that beach. So that people would know just looking that that was a Rotary event. And if I was following in the spirit of Maris, I would have gotten a real close up. Sometimes it makes me nervous when a camera gets right in my face, but Maris does a great job of just getting right up in there. I mean, how great would this memory have been if I would have like gotten right up there with the sifters and watched somebody sifting or heaving sand with a shovel. That's the real story. I could have done better with this, but I just encourage you to look back at some of your old photos and say, how would I have done this better? How would I have communicated this in the people of action spirit? Same thing. I also look back at Mesa photos and it's like it's either a selfie, which is there's a time and a place for a selfie, right? I mean, they're fun for social. It's not like something you're going to put in a newspaper. I also think that, the photo in the middle doesn't really tell much of a story either, except that you've got a bunch of tired bikers. The photo on the right, I think I really wish that we would have had somebody down at the other end of that taking a picture of us as we zoomed by on our bikes. Or, communing with the club members that we go to visit after a day of writing. So, think about these things going forward and challenge yourself to take those action pictures where you're trying to tell a story with a single picture. You're trying to capture the emotion. Just a thought there. All right, I talked about the do's. Now I'm moving into the don'ts. But before I do that, I just want to pause and say this is not a shaming presentation. Every club has old banners or signs or flyers, and that is completely normal. You don't have to run out tomorrow and redo everything. My goal here is just to build your awareness so that when it is time to print something new or create a flyer or get a new club t-shirt printed, you have the right tools at hand and you know what right looks like. So think of this as a friendly tune-up. It's not a teardown. We're just getting everybody on the same page so that the next time your club invests in materials, your image reflects Rotary's best self. So, three basic don'ts. Don't use old logos. Don't distort or use the wheel as an object. And don't use images or graphics within the Rotary logo clear space boundaries. So, moving on. The current Rotary logo has been around for a long time now, since 2013. And if somebody in your club is creating new content for flyers, social media, or printed materials, and you see two colors on that standalone wheel, just gently redirect them or help them access the brand center to get the current logo. We're all volunteers. We all are doing our best. And so it is definitely not worth, hurting somebody's feelings who's doing a good job. But if you can find a tactful way to compel them to take the time to get the right logo and use the right logo and understand the importance of it, it will go a long way. And they'll only use the wrong logo once. After that, they'll use the right one. That second don't is to don't distort or obscure the logo or use the mark of excellence as a decorative object. The wheel shouldn't be stretched, shouldn't be faded or cropped or turned into background art or wallpaper. Now that's actually quite challenging. It, that you see a lot of really beautiful, artful use of the mark of excellence. And it's hard to say, sorry, you can't do that. But it's a protected symbol of Rotary, and it really should stand out proud and clear. And as tempting as it might be to turn the mark of excellence into something fun like a golf ball or a bicycle wheel, it's just not allowed. And third, don't place images, patterns, or other graphics inside of the Rotary logo itself. So the master brand and the wheel have to have their, or really mostly the master brand has to have that clear space around it so that it's easy to read and recognize. So those that logos at a glance reference page that I mentioned, they include a graphic that shows the clear space requirements, and it's very simple. It's basically whatever the size is of the R in your rotary, that is how much space, that R is how much space should be maintained around your club or district logo. This one is really hard for me because you find yourself trying to cram a bunch of information on a slide or on a flyer somewhere, a banner. And this is probably the one I violate the most because that space with the R or the R-shaped space around the outside is it's great property for other material if you're trying to cram a bunch of stuff together. So that's the guidance. Um, the I was looking at this logo on the left, this club logo, and it's beautiful. You can tell that this club is very proud of the pavilion that they made or that they had a part in. It's a really gorgeous thing, but it's also just not allowed. And the main reason for that is because of the space violation. You really need to have that R length of space around the logo. All right. So before I open the floor to hear from you, here are a few key takeaways to help keep your club's public image strong. First, get acquainted with the Rotary Brand Center. It's truly your one-stop shop for everything. Logos, templates, color guides, all the do's and don'ts that we've talked about tonight. And if you're not the one creating content, be sure to share this with those in your club that are. Your newsletter editor, your social media manager, and whoever's designing your flyers. And the next, get those old logos swapped out when you can. If they're on your website or your banner, your printed materials, whenever you can. There's no need to redo everything at once, but when you're updating, just take the opportunity to make it current. And create a shared folder. What I recommend is that clubs create a shared folder with those logo assets. It's just a small step that saves a lot of time and it encourages compliance because what will happen is a club needs to go create a flyer and they ask somebody to do it and it gets put off until 5 minutes before the deadline. And in the last minute, in a hurried rush, somebody is trying to put together the flyer and it is quicker to go on to Google and find an image of a Rotary logo than it is to go to the brand center and download it. or create a new one. So they'll go grab something, and that's when they're going to grab the wrong thing. They're going to grab an old logo. They're going to grab, something that's not quite right or it's misdesigned. And the only true way to make sure that you're doing it right is to get it from the brand center. So if you've got time, do your homework, get all of those logos collected, make them available to all of the creators for your club so that they're available. And finally, remember that you're not alone. You can reach out to any member of the district's 6600 public image team anytime you need help, whether it's a question about designing, messaging, where to find resources. That's what we're here for. And together we can help make sure that Rotary's story shines across every club in our district. So with that, I want to open up the floor. Uh, like I said, I do have a few example of flyers that I can go over and we can kind of pick them apart. Only one of them belongs in our district. The rest of them are from somewhere else. So not accusing anybody of making bad slides or bad flyers. But before I do that, I wanted to just open up the floor to you guys and see if you have anything you want to talk about related to public image. Anyone?
If no one is going to say any, I just want to point out there is a People of Action editing site where you can take any photo and create a People of Action um, ad piece with whatever verbiage. There are certain verbiage. Uh, uh, there you go. Is that's not the People of Action editing? There, I'll have to get that and forward it into the chat box.
Yeah.
It's very nice to use. It allows you to crop. It allows you to pick out what kind of, together we inspire, together we whatever. You can choose and place it just the way you want it.
Yeah, it is a really nice tool. Um, it 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 is a Rotary International endorsed thing. So one thing that I would encourage people to do if you want it to have some text about your club, because there is, like he said, there is a space in there for adding more text. You can include text about what your club is doing in that People of Action template. Uh, what you can't do is add your club specific logo in there. And there's a reason for that. It's because this is a Rotary International campaign. It's not a campaign of your club, but they allow you to put your own customized text in there, just not your club logo.
I just placed that there in the chat box.
Ah, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Well, Jen, I just wanted to thank you so much for taking time to do this presentation. It was very insightful. I think it goes beyond Rotary for us who have nonprofits or our own organization as well. I think it goes, it's for all across all platforms. This was very insightful. Thank you for taking the time to do that for us.
You're welcome. Thank you. And thanks for joining, Maquette.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to give like 5 more seconds of dead silence before I move into my examples.
Hey, Jen, Jill had a question earlier. She couldn't see your screen. Jill, are you able to see Jen's screen now?
Yeah, I was able to fix it.
Great. Okay.
Ooh,
Super.
good.
I'm trying to monitor the chat for you, Jen, and it's a little bit challenging. So good. Thanks.
All right. Okay. Well, I'm going to just dig into some of these examples. I just found these online a few minutes before,
That's
and
an oldie.
yes, so who wants to kind of pick apart this this one? Anybody?
I'm sorry, Jen, what was the question?
Oh, who wants to kind of, now that you know a little bit about the brand center and what your guidelines are, who would like to take a shot at identifying some of the things that are not correct on this one? See
Well,
if,
the logo for once.
yeah, we've got a dated logo. The other thing is that I noticed about this one is where are they? You can't even tell. They've got the wheel, they've got the two colored wheel. So I'm sure this is old. Um,
Way too busy.
yeah, way too
Yeah.
busy. Words were,
I tell you, it does show the value of the Rotary logo being the same and the club name being next to it because look where the club name is way down in the middle, and look what's up in the corner. It just it makes it very, very difficult to understand even what it's really saying. It's just such a busy situation.
yeah. And they're also using the mark of excellence without any club. I mean, they've got the name of the club, but that's really not enough. You need to have your club logo there as well. So there's no club logo present. All right, I'm going to go to the next one.
Oh, the background, because they use it as the background.
Yes, it
Because I'm
happens.
like, this looks good. I don't know what's wrong with it, but then I saw the background.
It is. It's attractive, but it's wrong. There's no, and if it's really small on my screen, so I mean you can tell it's Calgary, the Rotary of Calgary is involved. This is probably yeah, they made it Calgary North, but where's their logo? They've got the master brand, they've got the mark of excellence, and nowhere on here do you see their logo. So, all right.
There also is not enough clear space on that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, they don't honor the clear space requirement. Sorry, some of these just start looking the same after a while. I
Oh, oh, oh,
No,
oh.
well,
another one.
Jeremy,
My hometown.
I know.
Whoops, I said I wasn't going to shame
That's
anybody.
funny. Yeah, the obviously the club logo isn't apparent on this one either.
Jeremy, how could you?
I know.
the master brand is wrapped up.
Yeah,
It's also the wrong color.
yeah, the wrong shade of yellow and the blue. Yeah. All right, another one. So we'll leave it to a Texan. I'm a Texan, by the way, so I can make fun of them. But
Yikes. That's the public image resources page for
yes,
the
can you
club.
believe that?
That has to be early in the transition. We'll give them a little credit
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? But
because it has evolved since, 2015, whatever, 2014.
yeah, yeah. All right, the last one. I said is it the next one? Yeah, the next one.
Probably ours.
We can say
Oh,
this is a
boy.
little older too, but this
Uh,
was something that our district put out, and I think up until
it
fair,
was our district.
yeah, I think that this was up until fairly recently. This was the logo that was used for one summit, wasn't it, Sharon? I think it.
Yep.
So the things that are really missing on this one is having the district logo on here somewhere. Also using the mark of excellence as I don't know if it's an object. I don't know it's just kind of obscured. It's in the middle of everything.
Just there.
Yeah, just there. So so anyway, I could, like I said before, it's difficult to unsee incorrect use of the logo. It's once you know, but it's not something uh, we have to be Rotarians about it, right? You don't want to go shaming somebody, you don't want to give them a hard time, but you got to find your way to tell them that it's like, I'm sorry, you haven't sent it to print yet. Let's just redo this one thing and teach them. So,
Oh, I have a question, Jen.
yeah.
Is is there a breakout session like doing pets for, you have all of these presidents and this training. I think that would be something that should be part of the, I don't know, training for incoming presidents. Probably something that should be in the forefront every single time that we meet as a group. That is so important.
Go for it.
Historically, um, the public image part of everything has always been pushed to the side and never given a center stage or a lot of time. And I think we're all seeing that start to change.
Mm-hmm.
Sharon, did you want to say something about pets?
I, yeah, what happens at Pets, either at the district or even at All Ohio Pets, is that there's so much that needs to be covered. And of course, the critical issue is membership and foundation giving. We do have this three-legged stool that you've probably heard before: public image, membership, and foundation. They all should work together, but in reality, what happens is, like Keith said, public image just gets pushed to the side to talk about membership. And presidents need to learn so much. I don't know if it was Paula or somebody else said to me, it was like drinking from a fire hose at District Pets and at All Ohio Pets. There's just so much information that you get and is thrown at you. So yes, Keith, we definitely want to add as much public image knowledge as we can, and we're always pushing for it. Can't you find a half an hour? Can't you find a breakout session for public image? And right now, it's still in the schedule for March 13th and 14th in 2026. So keep your fingers crossed that it stays there.
With the committee expanded though, I mean, there will be opportunities where we can get on Zooms and we can do coaching and I think that's one of the great things about the pods, whether it be an event pod or again a specialty pod. Um, we are going to be out there to be able to teach and talk through and if it's a president's council maybe that wants to get together, I'm sure a member of the public image team can go through that as well. And then just collect, PEs and presidents and that public image person and bring them together with that president's council. So I think there's going to be a lot of ways to help get the word out this year because of how Jen has set this up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I would like to know, since we've got a nice audience here, what are there any ideas from this group on what you would like to hear about in a future Power Hour? What are your public image topics?
I'd like to know how you do the new district newsletter. That's fantastic. Can clubs tap into that?
So easily. Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, we could our little pod could definitely do that. We're going to expand it for further use in the district too. It's on Google Sites. I can tell you that that was the platform that we built it on. It's free. There are some limitations into how you can lay things out, but from a dynamic standpoint and being able to it can turn an average person into a web designer, a web page designer. And
And think of it in terms of communication, because if you could send to, your members, your news and updates about your club and your upcoming speakers, how much easier and how much more attractive and how much more attention getting it is when you can put it in a format like that and then just have it flow out and be able to open up on your phone. I think that's been the thing I've been absolutely amazed by. And Jen, our new member of Rotary,
Miller.
is actually it's the two Jens because Jen set it up structurally. Um, Really are the ones who showed how simple it was. And when you get in there, and believe me, if it's simple for me technically, it's definitely something that's easy once it's set up right.
One of the things that's really great about it too is that you can correct something that's
Oh my gosh.
incorrect on right away, and
Right.
then the next time that's opened or the link is opened, the corrections there. So we had an incorrect link for Anthony Wayne Area Rotary Club's
Right.
um, website, and we just made a quick change to the URL, and in about 30 seconds it was fixed, and it was really great. So that, I mean, because you all know that once you publish something, there's going to be a mistake, right? So um, yeah, so that's really, I think
And
it's
then you
great. And we're
press
all
the send
volunteers,
button.
so we make mistakes.
Yeah, and we added pictures. We added stories and pictures literally the morning of the day that it published. So that's how easy it can be once it is. It's also easy when all of you send such good stuff. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
just know that.
Well, you need to
Jen,
compliment us because I mean, that is really an upgrade from what we've done. And you said the magical words that Rotary loves to hear at no cost to Rotary.
Right.
And all of our clubs love to hear that, right?
right. Well, that all that credit goes to Jen because she found
She
it,
set the thing.
she created it, she did it, and we all are reaping the benefits of it. So thank you, Jen Allred, and Jen Miller for working on it, and Maris for working on it too.
Thanks. So good feedback, Jim. I think I can see us doing something related to that to share with the clubs. Any other ideas for things you guys would like to hear about before we sign off?
Social media would be great.
Ah, yeah. Okay. We can do that.
Is anyone using LinkedIn?
Sounds like a no.
Well, I would say that our club set up LinkedIn last year. Our club president Milva Wagner loves LinkedIn for work, and she really felt it's important to help people connect businesses to other businesses and to connect our Rotary Club to LinkedIn. Um, she worked she worked hard to do that and invite a lot of her connections. Um, we did get a few prospects from it, but I don't know that any members actually joined. Paula, did you know if did Kimberly Rosinski come from LinkedIn? Do you know? At Mommy?
I don't believe so. I think they
No.
had a relationship just related to nonprofit.
Okay.
I will tell you though that LinkedIn, from a visibility standpoint, it might not be direct membership, but it can be credibility, and it can be just that visibility that people want to join things that are connected and being talked about and successful and whatever. And if you're in business and you're a leader, many business leaders and nonprofit leaders, et cetera, are on LinkedIn. So
Yeah.
I'm going to think it's a full circle of communication, not just one Facebook or something like that.
Right.
I'm gonna
Well,
have to piggyback off of Maris also and say that I agree with that. LinkedIn, if you may not be able to recruit, but you'll be able to attract attention to what we are all doing on LinkedIn. If you look at your views, anything I've oh, we have a young rook here in training, so I'm sorry. I've had great success, and honestly, I may have one coming in from some of the Rotary, the LinkedIn posts. So, to your point, Maris.
Yep.
right.
If
Well,
I may,
I was going to say, everybody uses Facebook, but I mean, we're not attracting
Not everybody.
any young people with Facebook, Instagram, getting some of it, but I'm intrigued by LinkedIn. Hugo puts out all sorts of things on LinkedIn, and it's articles and his talk, and he has a huge following, and it's the kind of thing that anybody could look at and read. I didn't know if anybody else was using it. So.
one thing I was going to add for the social media, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, is really to post what we are doing. Because you might have a social media, but it's really dormant. Nothing is being posted. The projects are not being posted. And a lot of people, the projects that we do, that's what's attracted to them. That's why, oh wow, that's what this club is doing. So I would like to join. So that's why the social media is so important to keep things updated. When you have your good speakers, just blast them on social media just to show this is what they talked about and our projects that we do. We just have to be updated more often, I think, to get traction of people who may not know anything about Rotary.
We also have to remember when we post something to
Yeah.
always hashtag with a number of different hashtags. In fact, I think it would be a great idea to send out, these are the hashtags that should be attached to any story you do.
Hmm.
That's a great idea.
So if I could actually comment on that, and only from the aspect of I've been doing a lot of work with some marketing companies in the area for the nonprofit that I'm with. And though the hashtags are important, what actually drives attention to your post or to what you're doing is and are the comments. So it's always encouraged to have people, yes, to like your posts, but they need to, I'll be like, oh my God, Jen, great work. Comment, because those are the comments that go into the search engine optimization. I mean, I'm not like the marketing guru, but and I've noticed that really has spruced up visibility and other people commenting as well.
Hmm.
So it's the comments.
Good point.
Yeah, I hadn't heard that. That's great.
Yeah,
Good.
I mean, yeah, just got that information about a month ago. It's like our social media posts are boosting.
Wow.
Mm. Another question that I have, do you think if, let's say, if we are going to post, when you have speakers, you're gonna be post about them, do you think then I don't know, in our documents, they should be made aware so that we have permission as well? You know what I mean? Like if someone is giving, I don't know, if they will want to be on your social media, I think it just might be something to look into, permission, things like that.
Probably depends on the type of speaker. I mean, I know you're just talking hypothetically, but it's probably, if it's somebody that's already kind of out there as a speaker,
Yeah.
it probably is implied that they're going to be okay with that. But,
Mm.
if it's like somebody a little more private that's coming to talk to your club about something, maybe a personal story, maybe they wouldn't feel as comfortable, I don't know.
One of the things that I've done with a couple of the speakers where um, they really gave us a lot of statistics and things like that. I have asked them if I can share a picture of the slide or share something like that. and it's just more of reminding them that we're going to be trying to go out and promote and show them as a speaker as well. And I would think that if you have any dialogue with that after you've done some pictures or something like that, they're going to tell you if that's not something that they want. Just like when we shop for the closed kids, we do get the permission from the parent that we can post those pictures, and we're very careful about that, because posting the child's picture without the parent's permission could come back and bite a club down the road. So those are things to think about, because again, those are minors.
I have a couple of things about that. Back to hashtags real quick. I do most of our social media posting, I do from my own phone at meetings and events. In my Notepad app, I keep a list of regular Rotary hashtags that we reuse often, so that I can just copy and paste that onto the social media post. And then I can add one or two that are more relevant to what's happening. But when we do have speakers, we will work to tag their business on our page, because more often than not, their business has much more traction with social media than ours does. And so by us linking to them, we're automatically going to get comments from the people who follow them. So if you have business speakers or nonprofits, make sure that you're tagging their social media in your social media posts so that you get that extra traction.
Jill, which club are you with?
She's like, what are you doing here, Jill? I'm actually, I know, I'm a stowaway. I'm in Sevierville down in Tennessee, and I'm in District 6780.
Oh, got it. Okay.
But I'm in the Facebook group for, I think I'm in everybody's public image zone Facebook groups. And so you had shared, or Keith had shared about this, and I was like, I want to go. And I made you make it a multi-district event.
Awesome. Yes, yeah, I'm glad we did. So cool. I was like, I don't recognize this lady.
No, you don't, but it's okay. I'm a stowaway.
Oh, that's good advice though. Was there something else? You said there were two things.
Just keeping that hashtag list on your phone in the Notepad app, and making sure you're tagging your speaker's business in your social media posts about them.
Very good. All right. Anything else? Anybody want to get something out there before we get back to our Thursdays? No. Well, I'm going to call this a success. I think there were, at one point, I saw 19 people on.
Yeah.
It's great. So,
thanks again.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. Great job, Jen.
thank you. Thanks everybody for your feedback, for your participation. It was a good meeting.
Thanks so much, and bye-bye to all.
Bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.